more and more and want to get out more and more.
Yeah, fantastic. Technology certainly has taken over, but Graeme, it's something that's also given us the tools to become more aware. You know, through social media, we see so many different types of activities that are now available to us that maybe we didn't know about before. How important do you think it is to continue creating the awareness of people getting out there and being fit and active, and for them to keep moving, because it really has become an important part of our lives, especially in the last 5 years? So why do you think that change has happened, and how important do you think it is?
Yeah, well, on a daily basis, we're exposed to so much more than I was as a youngster growing up. I mean, I don't even think I knew what an app was when I was starting my teenage years. But now you've got apps that are measuring your health and your disease levels and your cholesterol. So that's incredible. I mean, I think the information that can be given to you as a person today, and the time you can get it, is just incredible. If I look at our kids and the information that they're exposed to in technology level, they're probably going to teach me a thing or two in years to come. But it's so important that information is used constructively, that it's used for good. And I think, you know, watching these two incredible companies merge to create this platform, you know, in India is just, I think today is a day that we'll look back on and be incredibly proud to be associated with, to be a part of, and hopefully it will create a far better lifestyle and lifestyle for people to come in India. And we all know that the more active we are, the better our brains work, the better our bodies work, and the better the relationships we have across all platforms. And hopefully this will provide an even better India in years to come.
Absolutely. So you're the ambassador from... Yes, you can clap for that. Yes, you can. So you're the ambassador for Multiply back in South Africa. How has this program helped to change the lifestyle of South Africans?
Well, I think the most important thing is awareness. And I think the awareness is certainly out there that people need to be healthier, that there's far more risk and information out there on diseases and risks to health. And I think Multiply through the MMI group have certainly got a reward scheme that is out there and pushes people to be active. I mean, they get something back for their money and efforts, and that is the wonderful thing about it. As we said, South Africans are naturally health conscious or active people, but I think that's probably on the way. With the challenges at work, family, the technology that's out there, it probably is on the way. And to have these platforms in our country that encourage people to get out, be active, make a better country, help people create better communities, better decisions in their homes. I mean, for me, my first influence was my parents. And if they didn't encourage me to get out or do anything, you probably wouldn't have. And it starts at home. If you think about the communities, your governments, businesses that have just been started today, those are the things that are going to impact the youth for many, many years to come. And it's great to see that people are creating these platforms to create a better environment for us to be successful in.
Yeah, and it's so important. Pooja, Graeme spoke a little bit about apps and things like that create awareness about diseases, lifestyle diseases. So just tell me a little bit about how people can deal with them and how to conquer those kind of issues in today's day and age.
Well, quite frankly, the burden of these lifestyle diseases is rapidly increasing, of course, globally and even for us. The statistics shown to us about how many of us are diabetic, hypertensive, hyperlipidemia, cardiovascular diseases. Well, science and studies have already proven that Indians are genetically as a race far more prone to these metabolic X problems of diabetes and heart problem, compounded with our lifestyles and the sedentary we are getting every day. We're using more of technology and less of ourselves. Yes, our kids play cricket and they play football, but on the iPad. We don't have the infrastructure perhaps to give them that opportunity to be able to play it outdoors. And like Rahul clearly said, sometimes for peace of mind, we may hand them that. But that's what we're teaching them, because that's what we are doing. We're not active, we don't have the option to be, so we use instruments to keep us active, so that we count our steps and we try in our routine lives and our day-to-day activities and our office lives to be active. Of course, lack of activity compounded with easy availability to lots and lots and lots of wrong food. our lives quite are revolving around food. We socialize with it, we celebrate with it, we have lunch meetings and business deals struck over dinner. We even celebrate or mourn over food. That's the importance we've given to food, and junk food and availability of it is at our fingertips. Technology doesn't even want us to go out to the restaurant to go buy it. We just open our apps and the food is in our tummy. So much food, less of sleep. Everyone's cutting back on sleep. Let's make more of the 24 hours we have. Let's cut back on sleep. Let's even finish that project and let's even volunteer in that activity. Erratic hours, lack of sleep, disturbed state of mind, so much stress. All of this compounded is just an open Pandora's box. We're asked to be overweight, and then being overweight has a very strong linear equation towards all these metabolic problems. So I think coming down to the root of it, we have to take care of ourselves. We have to respect this body God has given us. Only if we will value this one temple and nurture it with the right food, give it its due rest, give it the activity that it needs for its muscles to be active, for your heart to stay pumped, for your lungs to be able to breathe, you've got to give it its due credit if we want to achieve everything we want to in life. So the route I would suggest is let's keep our weight in control. Weight is the mother of all problems. The minute we've compounded more weight, we are asking for trouble to enter. We've opened the door. We're just waiting for it to hit.
Well said. Yes. So, Graeme and Rahul, I wanted to ask you both actually this question. Now, obviously, fitness has been a huge part of your lives. I mean, I'm sure that you've trained more hours in a day than most of us can even imagine. How do you continue to see that through after such a long time? I mean, it's been years and years now. How do you continue to maintain that? Does it get better? Do you slow down a little bit? Do you try and just kind of maintain? How does it work? I can see you looking at each other.
You know, just watching them do that thing just reminded me of the horrible times that we had to do that bleep test.
Oh, I should have got you two up there together.
But no, it does get a lot harder. I must admit, after doing it as a professional sportsman for so many years, and it's not easy to do once you sort of stop playing. You stop playing professionally. But I guess that's. And I think that's what's really important. I guess for me, I think sometimes we get caught up in this thing of all or nothing. I mean, you look at, and I think you look at the danger of, I think a lot of times we get shown pictures of people with these great bodies and, men and women with amazing bodies. And when you look at these things, it's actually more depressing than anything else for the common person, because it says it's an almost unreachable goal in a lot of ways. And I think that's, I think that's really wrong, and I think from my point of view, one of the things that I'd like to say is that irrespective of the condition you're in, irrespective of the state you're in, I think you have an opportunity to do some level of exercise, and I think that's, I guess, from my perspective, I know I'm never going to be as fit as I was as a 25-year-old or as a 35-year-old even playing professional sport. That's unachievable in that sense, because if I have to achieve that, I've got to put in 5 or 6 hours a day, which is unrealistic at this point of time, because I have other things to do and other responsibilities and another completely different life to lead. But I think just to keep it ticking over, just to ensure that, I stay relatively fit, whether it is even getting up in the morning and instead of, taking an elevator, walking up steps, just walking up the steps in the house and not taking the elevator, cycling around if you want to go out and buy something, jumping on a cycle and cycling to the nearby shop and picking up what it is that I'm trying to pick up. So that's really the way I try and keep myself fit now, with just more activities, throwing plenty of balls to the kids. My kids love playing, whether it's playing football with the kids or throwing balls to the kids. My shoulder is pretty sore, the number of balls that I've thrown to my 2 young sons. But that's the way I find, is a lot more realistic way of keeping fit. Even with diet, and I mean, just listening to Pooja meant that, that chocolate cake that I was thinking of eating, I think I'm going to cut down on that today. She was like inspirational. But it's just being realistic about it. When you're playing professionally, you had to ensure because the physio or the trainer was checking your skin folds every week or every
Wow.
2 weeks and checking and saying, oh, your skin folds are going up. Nobody to check them anymore, thankfully. But yeah, but just being realistic about it. I'm never going to be, watching my diet as much as I did as a professional sportsman.
But moderation.
But yeah, just keeping things in moderation, I think, is the way to go.
Do you still work out every day?
I try and do some physical activity every day. So yeah, I try and play some sport every day, or I try and, maybe walk on the treadmill or jump on a cycle, like I said, or even if it's playing football with the kids or with my mates, I get some physical activity every day.
There may be a few people in the audience that are probably looking at you and thinking, but you're so used to it because this is what you did every day. You're so used to being active, you're used to being out on the field. But it is something that you can make a normal part of your life. It's just habit, right? It's just conditioning yourself.
It's being small, and I think it's being realistic. I mean, if you think that I'm going to run a marathon tomorrow, it's unrealistic. But even if you're able to walk for 15 minutes, if you get up in the morning and Manish walks as a profession, and he walks hours and hours. I mean, that's what he does.
School.
Yeah, he walks 7 kilometers to school. But if you walk 15 minutes every day, that's a start. That's a tick. That's better than not walking at all. And then I think what you find is that the more you do it, the better you get at doing it, the better you feel about doing it. And, if it's cutting down on that, if you're having dessert on lunch and dinner, maybe if it's cutting down on dessert once, having dessert once, or small things like that. I think it's about taking those baby steps and being comfortable taking those baby steps.
Small changes. Graeme, I wanted to ask you a similar question. For such a long period of time, you've had to kind of maintain, or you've had your ups and downs maybe as well, but physical activity has been a huge part of your life and your career. How do you stay fit for so long? How do you continue to push yourself in whatever ways that you need to do that at whatever stage of your life?
Yeah, look, I think Raul's covered most of it. I think, while he was talking, I was having flashbacks of many different experiences throughout my career, and those calipers and those weight scales, were a nightmare for me. And to be honest with you, post-career, I actually struggled to get motivated again. I think you spend so much of your career focused on being fit, healthy, your next performance, that actually some time away from that sort of mindset was certainly something that I enjoyed. So I think the only thing really to add to what Raul said, and he made a lot of valid points, is just balance. I think that's the key for me, is to find a balance. Forging new careers now, new business opportunities, new lives, that takes time, that takes energy, and my focus is entirely different now to what it was when I was a professional sportsman. So I think balance is the most important thing for me. I landed at the airport here and I got off the plane, and it's quite a walk to passport control, and there was the option to take a golf cart. Golf cart was running people. And I chose to walk. I felt a lot better about myself by the time I got there. So I think it's just little decisions like that you make on a daily basis that will impact you. And it's no one's going to be a professional sportsman if you're a businessman. So it's just about making good choices in a day that ultimately will help you when you go to bed at night or you wake up the next day, and impact on your family. And as a role model for your family, hopefully those things will rub off.
Definitely. Small steps and making the right decisions and balance. That's what it's all about. We're going to open the floor now to any questions that you may have for